Hey home bakers, somebody asked me in class the other day, how do you know when your bread dough is ready to bake? How can you tell when it's time to bake? A seemingly simple question with a massive long answer that took me way off piste and back round again while I discovered the power of conscious observation. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. Roll it! This thought has been playing on my mind now for so long that I just had to tell you about it. And although this question was asked in a sourdough class, that's only something that I do some of the time. The principle also applies to any bread making, yeasted, sourdough, sweet, savoury, whatever it is. And it also applies to way more than just that point when you're deciding whether it's ready to bake. And we'll get onto that later on. So let's backtrack for a minute. The question was asked in a sourdough class, when is my dough ready to bake? How can I tell? And what was probably expected was a quick answer like, oh, just poke it, and then this happens, and then you can put it in the oven. I could have given an answer like that. And had I offered it up, I would have succeeded in reassuring the room that there was a simple way, some process you can do to know when it's ready and then bake it. I would have eliminated the worry of the is it ready, isn't it ready whole thing with one simple sentence, sweeping that all away from everybody and cementing my position as the most knowledgeable person in the room. Far superior to everybody else. You keep throwing me those balls and I'll keep smashing them away. Cheers erupted. Rounds of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. See you later. It would have been an answer fit for purpose had the purpose been to end the question, but not fit for purpose if the purpose really was to truly learn something. Everybody likes a poke test before popping something in the oven, but it's not a clean-cut, one-size-fits-all faultless answer. So I completely avoided it, and instead, this is how it went. I started to explain the principle of puff. Bread dough puffs up. Sourdough in particular, in this example, puffs up for a long time. It starts off slow and then it starts to speed up. Fortunately, there are times throughout the duration of that long puff where we approach the dough and give it a fold. Certainly in my recipe, we tend to the dough every once in a while, and those once in a whiles give us an opportunity for observation. We can observe what's going on. You might get to your dough on fold number 3 and think to yourself, crumbs, it's puffing up really fast and getting really delicate. I'll shorten the next bit of fermentation time. That is an example. Stay with me. How did you get to that decision? 1, because you're committed to learning for the long term here. You're on a journey. And 2, you employed conscious observation. You took a deliberate moment. You looked at your dough and observed how things were going. And based on your experience up to this point, you made a call. Well, all this is very well and good, I hear you say, but I don't know what I'm looking for. Yeah, I get it. I know you won't. Don't look for stuff. That's not what I said. Observe your dough in each stage of your recipe process, and also each time you repeat the recipe. Let go of yourself and your need to know, because you don't, but you will in time, and trust the process, because in doing and observing, you will learn and get a sense of things to come. In this specific scenario, having observed what's going on during that long fermentation, you'll likely get a sense of what might be happening after shaping, and that will make it easy for you to determine baking. It all follows on. I'm conscious of this video becoming another sourdough video. It's not, but it is the example. I'm also concerned about making the sound more complicated than it actually is, making you more confused than you were when you started this video. Scratching your head like, just tell me, is it ready or not? Some questions are far simpler than firing a question and getting an answer, and can be answered simply by doing and observing, repetition and observation. What happened this time? What was different? Observe and do it consciously, and what I mean by that is bring your attention here to what you're doing. This principle applies not only to determining whether bread dough is ready to bake, but also throughout the kneading process. And that's why I like to do it by hand, because that gives me a massive opportunity to observe what's going on through that 8-10 minutes of kneading. Another example is in learning about baking times and temperatures. I made a video years ago about baking temperatures, and somebody commented on it the other day saying, don't follow this advice. I baked mine for 15 minutes on 230 degrees and it went black. At what point did it go black? Did it go black at 8 minutes, 10 minutes? When exactly did it start to burn? All ovens are different, and you just learned a very valuable lesson that could have been presented if you were observing the baking in the first place. You can avoid that by observing it while it's baking, and I can't help you with that bit. And you'll avoid it next time, having observed your black loaf this time. This may sound like common sense to many. I get that, but no sense is common to all. It's the power of conscious observation with the disclaimer that you are simply observing. You're not looking for stuff, you're not analysing, you're not stressing yourself out about it. It only succeeds in removing the worry if you completely wholeheartedly trust in the process and accept that bread making is a journey for life. If you open yourself up to the thought that there are lessons here for us to learn if we are ready and able to simply see them with eyes open, with conscious observation. Thanks for being here. Go make that bread. See ya.